So hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I decided to do a video with another bride. So in case you didn't know, I am engaged since April.
Yes.
And she's engaged since New Year's this year. So we're gonna do a video focused on wedding Q&A.
Okay.
I'll ask the questions and both of us can answer. So we also got ourselves some wine here. Cheers. Let's spill the tea. This is going to go more into the wedding. So let's just give a bit of background. My wedding is going to be in 2024 in September, and your wedding?
So it's gonna be in May 2025. So there's still a good bit of time left.
So how did we decide on the wedding venues and the dates? Is there any specific significance to the date that you choose or you chose?
I don't really have any specific reason why I chose like a certain date. So you don't need to know the exact date, but it is 2025 May. So I feel like the reason why I did May, because I feel like it's still like an off-peak month. So things are like cheaper, and most importantly, like I wanted good weather. I didn't want like a wedding in the middle of December or like a rainy month or like a cold weather, because I always wanted like an outdoor wedding. So for me that was like really important to have good weather and kind of like a more budget-friendly month, I guess. Do you know? So it's like not in the middle of July or August. First of all, it's going to be really hot and things are going to be really expensive because I'm doing it abroad. So yeah, I guess it was more like to do with the month and, you know, the convenience of it.
Yeah, I think it's very similar in our case. Like we have a lot of significant dates now. Too many maybe, but none of them have an actual like importance. And even the wedding date is not going to hold any, it doesn't like have something that we chose because of the date. It was literally because it was going to be a cheap option for a good venue at a close to peak time. So the weather is going to be good. But like literally the next day, I think the prices are jumping like double. So it was just a wise decision, I guess.
Also, just like a little tip, doing your wedding on a weekday is actually sometimes cheaper than on the weekend. And honestly, if you're doing a wedding abroad, I don't think it makes a difference if you're going to do it on a Monday or like a Saturday. Either ways, people are going to have to book days off like from work and stuff. So it really doesn't matter as such if it's abroad.
How was the wedding venue hunt for you? Like what were you looking for primarily?
Honestly, I went from like one idea and I chose something like completely different. So I always told Vlada, my wedding is gonna be on a beach. I'm gonna have no shoes, walk on sand, and have like a really basic kind of dress. Not like basic, but you know, not like princess style, whatever. And I would say I kind of went for the complete opposite. It was like a very different location. Actually, it's still technically close to a beach, but it's not a beach wedding. It's like a venue that's close to the beach, but it's not a beach venue, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think the most important that I was looking for is like the social space. I wanted a space where the guests could like not be too lost, if that makes sense. Like I didn't want too many different parts to be at the venue. I wanted to be one big thing so everybody could like interact with each other and not be one is stuck in the garden and the other one is stuck somewhere else.
I don't remember what I even wanted initially. I knew that I didn't want beach, like on actual beach wedding.
Yeah, that was me, but I'm not getting married on the beach now.
So I knew I didn't want it like on an actual beach because I knew like I'm gonna have a number of people. So like usually I feel like when you have a small wedding, it is more convenient to have it there. But I wanted like a nice view.
It's really hard to imagine the perfect venue. You might think you know what you want, but like once you see it, you just know you're like, okay, I can actually like picture my wedding in this venue. Like it's hard to explain. You just have to see it and like for yourself.
I'd say also like it's not just what you imagine, but when you start looking in the details, it's like some venues would be like, oh, you need like minimum 100 people, like we don't allow less than that, or you like this is the maximum we can host. So where we were looking, there was a very nice beach venue, well, close to the beach with a view, and you could see like the waves are very close by, but they couldn't host the amount of people we wanted, so it's impossible. And also the prices were like through the roof for the restaurant. So it's always like a bit of expectation reality, and I think landing in the middle is important.
Yeah, exactly.
Next, what inspired your wedding theme or style, and how are you incorporating both of your personalities, you and Raymond's personality, into it? And if you don't have yet something, let's say maybe what's some of the choices that you're making together, like even with the venue and stuff. And so.
Okay, so honestly, like I said, we didn't really know what we're looking for, but I think the most important decision is to always remember there's two people, two opinions, two views. So even if you're like a bridezilla or like a person that thinks, you know, I make the best decisions, and sometimes I can be like that, unfortunately we're not getting married to ourselves. So we have to remember our partners have to like things as well that we choose. So I think you just I don't know, I'm kind of like getting lost now what I was answering.
Yeah, you have to compromise.
You have to compromise and make sure you show everything to your partner and ask their opinion. Like, don't just be like, oh, that's pretty, so I'm going to reserve it or pay a deposit. Like, what if your partner doesn't like it? Like, it's not just your wedding.
Yeah.
So show the partner what you're choosing, what you're thinking. Like, be open. I think having a conversation is really important. And looking through things together and agreeing and just talking, okay, I like this and I don't like this. So
yeah.
I don't know if I answered the question because it's most important.
Yeah, so for us, as we are closer, we still don't have, and I was saying to Samantha earlier, like a predefined decorum or how we want it to look, because we are waiting to see the venue in person. But already, like, a lot of the decisions, like the venue itself, what type of vibe we are going for, are we going to have the whole walk down the aisle, are we going to have bridesmaids, groomsmen, and so on.
Oh, yeah.
This was all decided together, so
exactly.
like
together.
Yeah,
just
together.
a reminder. Together.
Especially on financial decisions
Yeah.
as well. I think that was the biggest. But in terms of decor, I feel like I will be the more decisive.
I agree,
yes.
because I have the better taste, obviously.
So far, Stefan has chose the fact that we are going to do groomsmen and bridesmaids, because I could have went with not doing that part of the wedding just because it's not big in my culture. But yes, that's kind of some of the things that he said I'm not willing to compromise on not having groomsmen. So I said okay, and I'm not willing to compromise on something else.
Yeah, my example was probably the DJ. So like, obviously Raven is originally from Nigeria and a lot of his friends and family enjoy Afro beats. So we need like a good DJ to make sure it delivers the Afro beats. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm going to play Afro beats through the whole of my wedding, but definitely like music is pretty important, you know. Is that a DJ, and in terms of decor, he said he just wants loads of candles and flowers. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I feel like so far as well, like whatever I showed to Stefan in terms of decor, like he's been on board so far. So that's the nice part. But yeah, I think having two cultures, like both of us would be similar in this term, it is nice, but it's also so complicated to think about. It's like, how do I bring languages together?
How do I play Afrobeats? And then my family's from Lithuania. They don't even know what Afrobeats are. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to make the wedding work.
In the end, everyone's gonna shake their booty. So
that's all we want, really.
What are your thoughts on the wedding photography and videography styles you want to capture to represent your unique love story, or just like in general? I know you haven't yet got your photography and videography, but what are you looking for?
I don't know, somebody who like is able to capture like raw emotional moments. Like, I don't want to pose like a statue at my wedding. I kind of want the photographer to be able to use their own initiative and capture like the actual like emotional important moments. Like, I want the raw footage of like, you know, when I say yes I do, like that moment better be captured. Just I don't like over edited, like really heavy edited photos either. I don't like, once I see the photography style, like I'll know if it's something I like or don't, but I am very picky. I'm kind of like Vlada, like I will need to do a lot of research on my photographer and videographer. Yeah,
and I feel like over edited is so like last year
or honestly,
so
or like
ago.
You know, when they edit the photos and the skin literally looks photoshopped, like you could see the skin was photoshopped. Like, I don't want this like these like fake photos. It has to be like more realistic, I think.
Yeah, so we picked our photographer and videographer. They're actually a married couple as well. And I chose, so although I have a wedding coordinator and planner that can do a lot of kind of sourcing for me, I chose to directly speak to all of these photographers, videographers, and some of them like I was looking at myself. And few things I was looking at was their website, portfolio, their Instagram and social media, and like the reviews that people leave there, or the type of photos they're tagged in, because I know everyone wants to put the best photos on their profile.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Yeah.
But like, what are people tagging them in? Then how quick were they replying, and how easy was it to provide a type of information to them?
The communication.
Yes, and like what type of stuff were they asking? Because what I found out, a lot of photographers were asking story about ourselves and everything. So I was like, that's good, because they know like what to look for. And in the end, I went with this couple due to pricing, due to their willingness. We had a Zoom call. And they understood us. They were like, okay, this sounds great. And like, kind of like you said, it's going to be very like raw footage.
Emotional.
And they were happy to negotiate on having a full raw footage of our wedding, which is not done in this day and age as much. But we want like a long video of everything along with like everything else. So they had like an engagement shoot included, but we don't need it anymore because we had this photo shoot here. So like, that's it. Like, if you can talk and someone hears you back instead of like someone arguing with you, that's like great. So but I think, yes, the pictures need to speak for themselves, most important. And the fact that they will be working together as a team is very important as well, because even if it's not a couple, but just someone that's used to be working together, they'll know how to plan the moments. They'll know how to interact.
You know, some photos have like the dress flowing, so I would presume one of them is like holding your dress or like making the moments like more pretty and nicer for the photos. Like they're being creative. I think creative photographers are good.
Exactly.
Like not being able to, or not being afraid to like do something different, I think.
How are you managing wedding planning stress, and what tips do you have for other couples going through the process?
Oh my god. Okay, so again, my wedding is nearly 2 years away. So at the moment, I'll be honest, I'm not feeling any stress. But in a way, I'm kind of glad my wedding is so far, because I feel like I have so much time to like really plan it in my own time. I don't say I found the process very stressful so far, but like bear in mind, all I did is
at the start you were shitting yourself.
Okay, yeah, that's true. At the start, okay, I was actually, yeah, you're right, now that you reminded me. So what I personally so far found it hardest is like to know where to start. So okay, imagine you're like sitting in your room and you're like, okay, I want to get married. So what do you do next? How do you go about like, yeah, I want to get married? So oh my god, it was a really long process. I was doubting myself. I was like, I'm never gonna plan a wedding. This is like I don't know, like a big black hole. I don't even know where to start. So eventually I just went online, did more and more research. I failed. I emailed companies for like quotes, and they were getting back to me with like 100k, 70k per like a small wedding, and I was like, are you serious? So I lost motivation, I gave up. And then I did more research, and then I was just talking to people like Vlada or somebody else that I know that planned the wedding and got some tips. So yeah, that really helped me. And yeah, at the beginning I was stressing because I didn't know where to start. I have an idea how it all works. So I'm kind of good now. But it took me a while to get here, okay?
From my side, I think I was very excited to start, and I am a big Redditor, so I would be on Reddit reading all this, like how people plan and everything. And then I learned about was this Google Sheets that everyone was like preaching, and I was like, oh, I'll check it out. And oh my god, like at the start of the process, this already helped me so much, because it's literally put everything by process. And even before having a wedding coordinator, that helped me like reach out to many wedding coordinators and put the prices and put everything. And then from there I got the wedding coordinator, and the rest kind of started to be easier. So it felt like exciting, and I read like other people's experiences, and then that was easy. So I think I started not stressed at all.
I was the opposite.
I was like kind of flowing through. I think then the one a bit stressful time was before we kind of had a pricing decided. So we had to really sit down and realistically think of the price. And then after the price was decided, that again felt like a burden was lifted off the shoulders. But I'd say now it's starting to get a bit more stressful for me, just because
it's the little things.
Yeah, it's the little things of we are in the process. We sent our CVP, and it's kind of the unknown of how many people are going to be there. Okay, like what's the next? Because we are waiting for a few next steps to happen. So I hate waiting, and I think this is like...
You're watching this, like, better message her, tell her right now.
But yeah, I think that's like one stress that comes, that I said to everyone, is from the people and the kind of the relationships and things that you need to take into account, like feelings, opinions and whatever. And although it's your wedding and we don't take a lot of opinions in, it's still like you don't want to hurt or disrespect anyone, and that's kind of the hard part that is sometimes stressing me out.
I did try and do it her way with the Google Sheets, but personally, like, I don't know, it just didn't motivate me. Like, it just didn't feel right for me when I tried. I was like, okay, wow, this is really working. Somebody suggested, actually, oh yeah, you suggested using, is it AI or IE, whatever it's called?
ChatGPT.
Artificial intelligence. So I was talking to artificial intelligence. I was like, oh, what are like budget destinations in like Europe or whatever for a wedding? And it was giving me all these different countries. And then I slowly started looking up venues and places in those countries, and eventually I just stuck with one country. And I was like, okay, now I know the country. The next thing I did was somebody else recommended to find a Facebook group chat. So for example, Spain. In Spain, like find a group chat on Facebook that's like, yeah, weddings in Spain. And they'll have like so many different wedding planners and people suggesting their wedding planners, and wedding planners, you know, letting you know they're out there, and they are so good. So I got like literally 20 different suggestions of different companies to go with and quotes and so on. So I made a list of every single suggestion once I asked people for their opinions, and then I researched them individually, like every single person that was suggested to me, and I had calls with them. I compared their deals, their package, their price, their everything, basically as much research as possible. And then I narrowed it down to this one person, like a wedding planner that I felt really right. Although we didn't really go with a different company, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
So yeah, that Facebook group for me was like, I don't know, it was like finding gold, and I just keep getting more and more useful information on that group. People just sharing their experience of like the venues, basically everything you need to know. And if I ever have any questions, I always ask in that group chat, and people are just so quick to answer. And then the budget, honestly, I will be completely honest, my budget is double what I planned initially, I will be honest. But I've come to...
You had a bit of unrealistic expectations to start with.
So I have to pay for it, okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna give a quick like tip on what we did with the budget. So we had no idea as well where to start with the budget. And even before talking to kind of properly to the coordinator while we were waiting for the call, we looked up, let's say, the destination where you're gonna have your wedding, look up like, example pricing template for a economy wedding or for mid-budget wedding or something, and it will give you a breakdown sheet of like what the prices can be like in the range.
Yeah, I did that as well once. Vlada gave me advice to do that, so that was actually really helpful. I forgot I did do that.
At least you know if you're like being overpriced or not, or like in the middle or whatever, and that like helped us a lot have like kind of a ceiling and a floor for like the price that we were gonna go for. But you also do a lot, I think, of writing in your notebook, so
so Vlada does it. You do everything on your Google Sheets, and I'm like a notebook person. I write everything. I have a whole notepad, and there's notes and notes and notes and essays. Literally, like I have to write everything down. I have to use a physical notepad. I don't know, I just prefer that, and I just make notes of everything, and I make comparisons. So like I split the page in two, and for example, company A, company B, what do they offer and what do they offer, and make a whole comparison, and then highlight the differences, calculate the price of those differences, and do a load of maths. Listen, my copy or my notebook looks like a maths copy, an English essay, like whatever, but I understand it, it works for me, and I'm happy. I think yours looks very more like organized and is different.
What I like about the Google Sheets is it has this like budget part that is like the expected budget. So let's say take, I don't know, food, say €1,000. That's just an example. It's not realistic, but and then how much you're actually gonna end up paying, which is like after you find out from the vendor. So maybe you end up paying 2,000. So then your budget is, let's say, I don't know, 13,000. And then you can see in the end, okay, well, this is how much it's eating of my budget. Like, which vendor can I take? So it's a very nice, like, comparison that happens in real time. So you don't need to, like, calculate yourself every time. So that's why I like it. And then it's easy to, like, store any links and anything and then just kind of, like, delete and whatever. But yeah, I think the question started with how we manage the stress.
And I don't know.
So because we don't have a lot of stress, I think we don't have to manage a lot. But when it gets, for me personally, too much, I just, like, don't do it. Like I just try to forget for a few days that I have a wedding to plan. Yeah,
that's what we do.
The next part is, have you selected your dream dresses and outfits for the big day? How do they reflect your individual style? So maybe I start here because I have said yes to the dress.
Oh yeah, exciting.
So I started with obviously looking on Pinterest and everything, and to just kind of give you an example, I always thought I was going to have my wedding dress from Elisab or Zuhair Murad or something when it was like 2010 or whatever, when I was younger. And they had all this like beadings and a lot of like embroidery, and like that's what I liked at the time. But then now I grew up and I'm like, no,
completely different.
Completely different. We're not doing that. And I wanted something timeless, something like that screams like, oh, the queen is coming, you know. And I looked on Pinterest like at lots of dresses, and then I saw this dress that I fell in love with, and I was about to fly to freaking Croatia or something to like look at the dress. And then I was so hyped up for it. Like I messaged them, they even replied to me. And I was like, wow, they're like quick and efficient. And then I read reviews, and then, yeah, people were not happy with their customer service and how everything was. And I was like, I cannot risk this. Like they seem nice, but then when you actually go through the process with them, it's like not what you expect that you get. But I still really liked the dress. So in my mind, I was like, I'm going to look for something similar. And then I think I went to like 3 places or 4 places in Galway that I looked at, and the first 2 were kind of overpriced and maybe not as nice, like the quality of the material, or like I just didn't like something. And then I liked a dress that kind of like the shape of it and so, but it still felt like something was off for me. So then the last one I went to look at, I did find something, and I had more appointments booked, but I decided that I'm going to stick with that dress, and Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I find crazy as well? That you have to pay for appointments, right? Like, you think
20
that it's
or 25 euro.
Yeah, you think you're just gonna walk into the shop, try on the dress, and you know, that's it. But you're actually gonna lose money by making appointments, so you have to be really wise with your choices, because you're paying to try these dresses on. As crazy as it sounds, like, you have to pay.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, but I guess that's just how it is.
Yeah, but just to kind of give, like, I am looking for timeless. I might do a bit of customization. I know I'm gonna have a big veil. That's something like I really want. And then for, just to say, from Stefan's side on the costume, I still think we're not finally or fully decided or agreed on his costume or color or so. But I think that, like, once he will try on some ideas, we'll see. I think I don't want black for him, but I feel like it might change in the end. I don't know. We'll see.
Everything changes.
Yeah, exactly. And you, what you think?
So have I chosen the wedding dress? No, I haven't. But I'm planning to try on dresses. I've never obviously even tried one on, but I would hope to do it in, I would say, May, July, anytime kind of early summer next year. And I actually kind of have an alternative way of looking for my dress. So instead of like going into what do you call, like a
physical shop,
well, it is a shop, but instead of going to try on wedding dresses and like have it made for me, if that makes sense, and it's kind of like shopping off the hanger. So rather than having the dress made for you, if that makes sense, you go in, let's say, like any other shop, like, I don't know, H&M, you don't need to make appointments. It's just all wedding dresses, and they're a lot cheaper because they don't have to be custom made. And let's say they have like size 8, 10, 12, whatever, and you literally try on the dress in the shop as you are, and just like buy it off the hanger, and that's it. Like, it's not custom made. Obviously you can alter it then after, but it's a lot cheaper. Because I feel like one of the major things when you go into like an actual wedding dress shop like you did, the fact that it's custom made for you, and you know, they get all your measurements, of course it's a lot of like labor and tailoring. So I understand why they have to charge such a high price.
But I'll correct
on ASOS, Pretty Little Thing, like high, like, you know, fast fashion. No, I wouldn't. Again, I don't know, I've never bought one, but I suppose if you're looking for a very cheap dress, they do have options. I looked at it, not that I saw anything, and I don't know if I would even trust their quality, but again, it is out there. I mean, people do it, right? So
yeah,
that's an option.
I would just say that, like, I would rather do the off the hanger than like
at least you get to try it on and see the quality.
And they would be done a bit better than like the ASOS or whatever. But the only, like, my fear with that would be like if I don't find something I like, but hopefully.
Yeah, my dream dress that I thought I would really love, again, changed. In my head, I was like,
I mean, she changed her engagement ring freaking 6 times.
Oh, so let's not talk about the engagement ring. That's a whole different story.
Are you gonna have one dress?
I'm thinking to change into a shorter dress after my first dance. However, I'm potentially incorporating traditional Nigerian dancing as well, so that could be another outfit change. So I might end up having like 3 different outfits. My main wedding dress, the Nigerian outfit, and then a short white dress. Yeah, so I could have actually 3.
For me, it's like I probably will have 2 dresses, but I'm also thinking like I want to do like a church kind of piece as well, but probably not on the same day. But I don't know if I'm gonna use like the wedding dress, so I might like have another type of white dress just to wear to the church or so. Involving your families and friends in the wedding preparations. How do they feel about your wedding? The hardest question.
So when I booked the venue, actually I didn't tell anyone that I was doing research, that I was even looking at a wedding. And so I officially booked my wedding venue, I think at the beginning of June. And I only told my mom like like the beginning of July, like a good month later, and it came out really random. I wasn't even planning to tell her for a while. Yeah, I haven't told my sister or my brother or anybody else. Like literally Vlada knows, my other few friends know, and my mom. Yeah, that's it. So if you're watching this, sorry I haven't told you yet, okay? I will give you more details.
From my side, how am I involving people? Honestly, it's kind of the same, but also it's like I think I'll involve my own parents a bit later when it will come to incorporating some of our traditions in. So I'll probably see, because like also I'm not doing a lot of our traditions, but I will want to keep something.
I'm sure you heard the saying, the less opinions, the better. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, that's literally the less opinions, the better, the easier.
And are you creating a wedding website or using social media to share your wedding journey with your loved ones?
So like, for example, make like an Instagram page all about my wedding?
No, I think it's just like to talk about it. And so I created a wedding website, so I'll do like a separate video to kind of like give advice on that, but I found this very helpful. So I put like all the details on the wedding website, like where it's gonna be, where like it's where's the hotel,
Is that what
what
you
details.
used for your invitation, that wedding website? That's what
No, so the invitation is created on a
okay.
different one, and then it links to the website that like has all the
okay,
information.
yeah.
So talking about that, I have paperless invitation as well.
I thought
so
that was
save the
brilliant.
dates. So I still don't know if I want to do papers. I might do like thank you notes or so, like when people are there in person, and give them like in paper, or do like something special that people can take away from the wedding as a thank you. But I think because like initially we wanted to do paper as well, and now I'm like, what's the point? Because everyone's like in different locations.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the invitation is
get
ever
all the
going to arrive, you
addresses
know.
and
So
on,
yeah. What are you most excited about on your wedding day, and what are your individual hopes and dreams for married life together?
Maybe I would say I'm excited to walk down the aisle with like, you know, a dress and feel beautiful, and like see the reactions of my fiance and my family, like that moment of like being like, wow, I'm getting married, I'm a bride, like just walk down the aisle and be like, whoa. So I'm really excited for that moment. And then the second one, I'm really excited to just get down on the dance floor and have a good time. And there is one little like fun part that we're gonna do as an after party at my wedding, so I'm very, very excited for that. I'm excited for the, you know, the fun part at the end when all the stress is gone, you've done the ceremony, you've done the dinner, you're like, okay, now I can just like enjoy myself, like the end of the night, like we just breathe and dance. So I'm very excited for that part. And then you said, what do I hope for? I want babies. Travel. I don't want Travel Pal Sam to just disappear.
Subscribe to Travel Pal Sam, please.
Exactly. .com or just Instagram, whatever you want. Okay, Travel Pal Sam is not going anywhere after she gets married, I hope. Okay, fair.
Am I excited for the wedding day, and what do I want for my life? I think what I'm excited for is that morning first, to spend the time with the girls.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Well, for me, I think that's important, but also I really want to have at least 15 minutes by myself with no one there, like literally just like...
Realize.
Yeah, like sit down, ground myself, and that's like before I leave the room to go and meet my future husband. So I think like I'm excited for that party, getting ready together, having the photos and everything, and having like my mom there as well, and then have my time alone, think about it all, and then like after I'm actually in the moment when my dad walks me down the aisle, that's like what I'm excited for, to see like my fiance husband's face. Yes, I like I'm excited but also terrified about it, because I'm like, if he's not gonna like the dress or how I look,
imagine like you think you look so beautiful, you chose your dress.
Literally, I don't care what happens in between. But I just want to get to that point where you're just on the dance floor with your friends, family, like, your husband. It's like 50 Cent blasting, you know. That's like probably what I'm excited, and having that first dance together. Like first it's like serious, and then have like a fun part, and then just like literally just like dancing all night away until like freaking morning, and everyone just remembering this day and moving on next day. I'm gonna do that for honeymoon, because realistically I think I'm just going to be so tired, because we have a lot of things upcoming. So our honeymoon is going to be just chill, but after that freaking travel is coming in triple. I think we will just like...
What can I just say?
Like, is there anything that you'd be given as advice to couples planning now, or anything we haven't mentioned yet?
I think that giving yourself time is like very important. Brides, you're not marrying yourself, okay? Just remember that. You're marrying your partner, so there's two of you, not just one.
I think that's for us more than us.
That's why I'm saying, dear brides.
Yeah, so I think I will agree with you. I feel like, I don't know what happened, so I don't know how it was before. I feel like before it was realistic to plan something very quick, and I feel like you can still do it if you want.
Yeah, exactly, if you have the money and everything.
You are not going to get the venues that you want, most likely. You're not going to get the best vendors, because they'll be booked out. So maybe this is a post-COVID effect, that a lot of weddings were postponed and people ended up kind of like booking in advance.
Also,
but don't feel like you have to tick every single box of trends or whatever is coming up, because realistically, do you really need all those trending things on the tables or stuff that no one is actually going to pay attention for or to, and that's going to eat within your budget? So first settle like the big important payments, and then whatever is left, then you can do with it. And the other one is be mindful, if you're having a destination wedding,
give good notice.
I think that's all then. I don't know. Do you want to show the wedding ring or the engagement ring?
My nails are so ugly, but yes, you can see the ring. That's my ring. Classic, basic. I wanted something timeless, I guess. Yeah, I like gold. this is it.
Okay, I just forgot about it. Okay. Well, this was our talk, and hopefully you enjoyed it and learned a lot. And if you want more questions to be answered as we go along, let us know. I'm definitely doing more videos about tools, tips and tricks and whatever from my side. And yeah, welcome to our wedding planning.
Travel Pal Sam releases her TikTok that may or may not happen, I'll let you know, because I'll be sharing everything there. Hopefully.
Bye.
Bye.